It was February 28, 2009, and a bout was about to take place that would soon be named Fight of the Year. Juan "Baby Bull" Diaz seemed to have the determination necessary to retire who he called the Old Man Marquez. The young bull was known across the vast rings of the world for his powerful punches, which already made him a relentless warrior. Having crushed anyone who dared to stand in his way, the last thing on his mind was mercy toward a tricolor legend, one of those fighters whose defeat automatically elevates your status in the sport. But he hadn't accounted for Marquez's cunning, and that night, fate had a big surprise in store for him. The stakes Marquez entered the venue to face his destiny with an impressive professional record of 34 victories. 17 of those wins had come by the harsh route of knockout, but his record was not unblemished. He had been defeated before, and Baby Bull knew he wasn't invincible, so he wanted to be the second man in Marquez's career to beat him. In his own words, to take him down, humor. With great arrogance, the young bull boasted of having the punching power to send Marquez into retirement. Yet, even in what, in hindsight, was the final stretch of his career, the tricolor idol was not about to be defeated easily. In the sport, it's well known that when a veteran faces a young prospect, it's often a symbolic passing of the torch. If the young fighter wins, he automatically elevates his status and becomes a figure of interest. But what happens when youthful power cannot overcome the wisdom of experience? What happens when this so-called farewell ritual for a veteran instead reaffirms their standing in the sport? The bitter pill then falls to the young prospect who seems powerless against a man throwing what might be his final punches. And knowing Marquez with his more than 30 successful fights, Baby Bull should have approached the match with more humility and realized he wouldn't play the role everyone expected of him. Although Juan Diaz is half Mexican and half American, the weight of tricolor pride in this bout leaned heavily toward the corner of a pure Aztec warrior, Juan Manuel Marquez. Being young, strong, and confident wouldn't be enough for the young bull when Marquez demonstrated his experience, resilience, and fought with the same hunger to win. Diaz was in trouble. This was supposed to be the first defense of his international boxing organization lightweight title. A win would solidify his status as champion and prove he had what it took to reach the pinnacle of his generation. The fighters would also contend for the vacant World Boxing Organization and World Boxing Association lightweight titles. 12 rounds of great boxing awaited them, and with Rafael Ramos as the third man in the ring, the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas, became the stage for an authentic war, one of life or death. The fight first round. From the sound of the bell, Marquez displayed a cautious demeanor, attempting to figure out what it would take to deliver a crushing defeat to the arrogant yet young bull. On the other side of the equation, Diaz chose to skip the feeling-out round and waste no time. Like an enraged bull, he sought to overwhelm the old man in the ring by launching an offensive that was hard to neutralize.
Diaz begins. Good straight left hand by Diaz, and the chopping left hook in the corner.
Punches at this stage.
Diaz goes in with the right hand. This is going to be a hellacious war. Diaz showing respect, but ripping Marquez with another left hook. 3 body shots from Marquez.
Between a younger and older fighter. In this case, the early rounds seemed to favor Diaz.
With Marquez backed against the ropes, forced to absorb Diaz's punishing blows, the first round ended, and the outlook for the veteran seemed grim.
For the most part. I thought this was
Position of willing to mix it up.
And are they ever?
Not to mention the well-known cultural Mexican tradition.
Marquez trying to fire back. Lands a right cross and a left hook.
Second round, Marquez stepped into the second round ready to contest control of the center of the ring with his fists. But the young bull was still seeing red, charging at anyone in his path. With his back against the ropes again, Marquez found himself in trouble, left with no option but to try and fight his way out of the dangerous situation. He closed the round with improved positioning, attacking the body and taking a stand in the center of the ring. The pieces of his strategy were beginning to fall into place.
Diaz is punching. He's got his head down more, where he's getting better leverage in the exchanges, and Marquez's head is up more.
I get the hunch that Marquez is going to need to stay off the ropes, Emmanuel.
Yes, and I don't think he's going to do that. And the way
Staggers Marquez. Marquez in trouble and trying to fight his way out of it. The Morales-Barrera fight.
And so does this one.
Third round. During the third round, Diaz's blistering pace began to slow. On the other hand, Marquez was just getting warmed up. Left uppercuts and fearsome right hands became the main course served by the authentic Aztec warrior. Meanwhile, the young bull clung to his repetitive combinations, which, after 3 rounds, had failed to break Marquez's fighting spirit.
And particularly, give it. What a will! What determination!
Marquez.
4th round, Diaz stuck to his strategy of trying to hit Marquez hard enough to push him out of the center of the ring. But his predictable approach allowed the veteran to study his movements and respond more effectively each time. Although the young bull continued to land power punches during the round, Marquez displayed remarkable resilience, absorbing them bravely and pressing forward.
And Diaz is imposing his kind of...
What's the fight? Juan Diaz led the more clinch and right there. 3-0 Diaz.
You know,
Well, I think he might be a harder puncher, but of course, Diaz...
Once again, the round ended with Marquez holding the center of the ring against a bull whose pace had visibly slowed. Pre-5th round. By the 5th round, the signs of fatigue in Baby Bull were impossible to ignore. This gave Marquez the signal he needed to unleash a medley of his greatest hits. Once again, Marquez is against the ropes, the commentators announced, unaware of what was coming next. With punishing blows to the body, Marquez began carving his own path to victory.
Took that to end of the round.
Diaz establish themselves with their...
And he nails Diaz with 2...
Well, I tell you what, this is going to be a tough fight. Rafael Ramos has not had to break these guys up.
6th round. As the fight reached its midway point, Diaz's aggression shifted from slightly technical to outright irrational. This played into Marquez's experience, who channeled his inner Chapulín Colorado, handling the situation with remarkable cunning. Even against the ropes, he had the perfect answer for every challenge Diaz presented. Raising the target of his attacks, with just over 30 seconds left in the round, Marquez stunned the young bull with a trio of uppercuts, reminding him of his place, beneath the veteran. It became increasingly difficult for Diaz to keep the pure tricolor fighter cornered. And this was only the beginning of the end.
Uppercut, hook, left hook, back into the ropes. All out war. Diaz eats a hard right hand, lands a hard right hand, takes...
7th round. In what remained an electrifying fight, predictions about the winner were still too risky to make. What was clear, however, was that neither contender intended to leave the outcome to the judges. Marquez began bombarding Diaz's body with fists packed with dynamite, leaving the young bull neutralized for longer stretches. Likely, Diaz was left thinking about how to proceed. Surprisingly, Marquez appeared comfortable with his back to the ropes, showcasing his remarkable adaptability.
Here as he did in the Rocky Juarez Chris John fight shot. Left hook to the body, all by Juan Diaz. Now, and it looks as though the stamina advantage is beginning.
Marquez has fought a bit with his mouth open since the 3rd round.
The crowd that's whenever Diaz in, but he's standing a lot of...
8th round. In the 8th round, Diaz continued throwing punches with unbridled fury. However, Marquez's patience was on the verge of paying off. Like a master tactician, the veteran fought with the intent of creating the perfect moment to unleash his heavy artillery. He understood that wasting energy in improbable scenarios of decisive victory would only turn him into what his rival had devolved into, an irrational brawler. Marquez's uppercuts remained powerful and were the highlight of his offensive. With each exchange, it became easier for the veteran to neutralize the baby bull. In hindsight, it's no surprise that the conclusion of this bout was just around the corner.
He's asserting his energy again. Have to go to work on Diaz between rounds.
Half Mexico. He's American Mexico.
What action? Oh, and Diaz got caught with a left hook, and he looked stunned. The dire way here against Marquez.
Well, we told you how Marquez adjusts.
9th round. The 9th round seemed to start ordinarily, but would end abruptly with a lethal flurry of punches that metaphorically ripped the horns off the young bull. Perhaps Diaz's slightly more passive attitude opened the window for Marquez to execute his master plan. And, showing great compassion for animals, Marquez opted for a quick finish rather than leaving Diaz to suffer. Diaz fought valiantly for the first 2 minutes of the round, but he couldn't survive the last. A devastating uppercut, one of many he'd already experienced, stripped him of his crown. He fell face first to the canvas, almost slipping past the ropes and out of the ring.
And he's supposedly the stronger man.
And he's hurt.
A huge uppercut. Down goes Diaz.
Diaz managed to get up by Ramos's count of 6, but his bloodied face spoke volumes about his condition. Although he was allowed to continue, Marquez was determined not to let this opportunity slip by. With another uppercut straight from the depths of hell, Marquez sealed the deal.
Look at him go to the body and try to set up the...
Without even starting the safety count, Ramos waved off the fight. As Marquez raised his arms in victory, celebrating his coronation, the young bull, battered and broken, required emergency assistance in the ring. The bout was a demonstration that strength means little without the wisdom to wield it effectively. At 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the 9th round, Juan Manuel Marquez claimed a spectacular technical knockout victory over the young prospect Juan "Baby Bull" Diaz. If you've made it this far, thank you. Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like on the video. Do you think Baby Bull ever had a real chance of defeating Marquez, or was it all part of the Tricolor's perfect plan to deliver a stunning victory? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.